coat of Slick Stick on. Next, we're going to put Silk Whitecap on. Welcome to Pickin' Boots Vintage down in sunny, not so warm Florida. It's cold. I'm freezing. I don't even know if we have heat in the store, but it's cold here. I'm coming to you live because we are going to be updating this beautiful vanity. Now, if you notice, the vanity, I have it elevated so it's easy to work on, but it's a very low vanity, so it's not one you can kind of sit under, and it's kind of outdated. A lot of people don't sit at these kind of vanities. Also, this one used to have one of those big mirrors, like the 3 mirror, and I don't have that mirror anymore, so we're going to repurpose this vanity into like a seat at the end of the bed or an entryway bench when you come in. It's got great storage, and there's a couple shelves, so we're going to have some fun with this. I've already got... Okay, I'll take this off. I've already got it primed and ready to go. I have 2 coats of the paint on. And real quick, we're going to talk about the different kind of paint that I used on here. With Dixie Belle, you know that they have their chalk paint, and they also have their silk line. And the silk is way different than the chalk line. The silk has built-in acrylic, and it also has a built-in it has a built-in primer, but it's not the primer that allows it to stick. It's the primer that blocks the tannin. So it's a blocker, and it also has a sealer. It has 1 coat equivalent of gator hide mixed in. So it's got your primer, your paint, and your sealer all in one, which is such a time saver. It's not really good for blending. So if you want to do something more creative, more blending, more mixing, you want to use a Dixie Belle chalk paint. If you want to just paint, have a nice clean look, then you want to use the silk. Now, some other benefits of the silk are they're grease resistant, mildew resistant, and water resistant. So that's huge right there. They're perfect for bathroom cabinets, kitchen cabinets, and just really any furniture, but they're really good for in and on cabinets. Okay, so really quick, I want to show you this. Dixie Belle has just released, they are coming out with 10 new colors. If you've been following along on my stories, I've been posting the little game that Dixie Belle has been playing with Guess the Color, and a lot of you guessed them. And let me just show you. So this is, let me just get this out here. Boop. Okay, so there is the 10 new colors. Aren't they beautiful? Now, it's really kind of hard to see, so I have them here too. Look at this. Look at those. Let me get rid of my name. Hide that and hide that. So you have Morning Sunrise, Midnight Green, Mirage, Prickly Pear, Desert Rose, Mojave, Cactus, Oasis, Fiery Sky, and Umber. I tell you what, I just can't wait to use that Fiery Sky, and that Umber looks gorgeous too. Oh, in Desert Rose. These are just, but I think the first color I'm actually going to use is the Mojave. It's just such a nice, warm, just yellow. I just love it. So, but let's get back to what we're doing. We are on this vanity. So, like I said, we were talking about silk. I've already have 2 coats of silk on here. I wanted to be prepped and ready to go because we are going to have some fun. Normally, I always show you the beginning, but now I want to show you the end, how we finish it and how we decorate it. But some fun we're going to have with this, let me put this down, is look at this awesome paper. This is the Roycycled Treasures Cowhide, and this is what we're going to put on the top, just here and here. This is going to make, it's just going to set it so different. I know this is kind of fancy, but this is going to really just, I don't know, add a special layer to it. And then we have some fuzzy fabric that we're going to put here. So it's kind of going to be a fancy Western kind of vibe going on. So just hang with me and let's get this paper on. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it up here and we're going to put it up here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to cut it down the middle. Now you could put decoupage paper on with your medium of choice. You can use Mod Podge. You could use, go that way. No, I want more brown. You can use the medium that you have, whatever kind of paint you use. Like today I'm going to be using the Dixie Belle Clear Coat. It makes it adhere really well. So we're going to go ahead and put this on really quick. So I'm just going to put this over here. I know you really don't have a good angle to see the paper yet, but I will show you close up as soon as I get it on. So I'm just going to take my medium or my glue and I'm going to put it on. Let me get my glasses. Got to be able to see. And I just have an old chip brush. You could put your decoupage medium on with whatever you want. Some people will use a foam brush. You just want to make sure you use a brush that's not too stiff because you want to make sure you have a good layer on there. If you have too much though, that is what really creates the bubbles, so just be careful. All right, so that is on. Let's stick our paper on. Now with the decoupage papers, oops, they're a little bit thinner, so they do tend to tear a little easier than, say, a rice paper. But they leave wrinkles, and I like the wrinkles because it just adds to me, it adds another layer of dimension. So I'm going to take just a brayer, and I'm just going to roll, make sure that the paper is on and it's pushing out any bubbles that may be there. Hold on, I just need to do this one more time. I'm picking it up, but I'm being very careful. I need to add just a little bit more right there. There we go. I'm going to gently put it down. Again, I'm going to go back to my brayer. Try to get out any bubbles. Now there are some people that like to iron their decoupage paper on. There's what's called the iron-on method. I like to do it this way. I do know with the iron-on method, it seems that you get less wrinkles, but okay. So this is on, and let me just give you a quick peek at this one real quick. Let's see. So here it goes. Here it's on. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other side right there. Oops. Okay. So put my paper to the side. I don't know, guys, but look how beautiful. Don't you just love this paper? I have so many ideas of what I'm going to use this paper for, but this was the first one. So again, I'm just applying my medium, my glue, and I'm just using the Dixie Belle Clear Coat. You can use Mod Podge. You can use whatever brand of paint you use. Their sealer. Making sure I got the edges. All right. Now, let's put and I'm just going to push it over slightly. When you start in one end and kind of push, you tend to get less wrinkles. Did I bring my brayer? Here's my brayer. So now I'm just going to go ahead and use my brayer. And I'm going to making sure that I have good adhesion of the paper. Now you notice I didn't measure, I didn't cut, it's just I put the rectangle right on top. I'm going to show you how to get the excess paper off in just a minute, but I need it to just settle for a second. Also, after we take the edges of this paper off, we're going to give it another coat on top of the clear coat, but we're going to wait on that. So, now this piece, because we've added the paper, and I'm going to show you real quick. Let me get a zoom in and just show you what the paper looks like so far. So here is the paper. So that is going to be beautiful on top of this. Look at this vanity. Definitely different. All right. But for me, I'm thinking we need to distress it just a little bit, just because for a few reasons. First of all, when you lightly distress your piece, down the road when you get a nick in it, it doesn't stick out quite as much. Also though, it'll kind of tie more into the cowhide paper. It'll look a little bit rustic, but it won't be that rustic because, I mean, look at all this fancy details you have. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I always get these sanding blocks, and then when they become non-usable, I just take a piece of sandpaper, and then I just wrap it around. I love these sanding blocks because it's good for the grip. Sometimes it's hard to sand like this, but when you have it wrapped around, it's a lot easier. So we're just going to start right here. And we have a light distress. Camera's kind of far, but in a minute I'll zoom in. I'm not going for a heavy distress. I just want to go for just enough. Just for some added dimension. Let me get my little favorite stool. Whoa. Whoops. And look at that. It just adds so much. Let me get this. Got my iPad here. Right here. So let me go on the other side of the light. Look at the added detail just by lightly distressing. See that? Very cool. I'm going to put this up and this up. There we go. All right, so I'm going to continue to distress. Not heavy, just enough. Now, do you have to sand when you use silk? Absolutely not, but you can. You don't have to not distress when you use silk. Some people think because silk is, you put it on and you're done, you shouldn't distress it. I like to distress it. If it needs it, you do it. Put this down. So let's see, are there any comments? No, not so far. If you have any questions on the silk paint or the decoupage paper, let me know. We're going to be taking off the edge of the paper in just a minute. I'm currently using a 220 and just lightly distressing, not going too heavy. Side. So I'm using a 220, and sometimes if you use too heavy a grit, you actually see scratches, and that's not what we want here. We just want just a light distress. Out so I can get don't want to forget the corners of the drawers. Again, just a nice soft distress. Let me get this drawer over here. So now we've given it a light distress. Let me show you how to remove the extra part of the decoupage paper. I simply just take some sandpaper, again, wrap it around the block. And you just give it a light sanding right on the edge. And then just comes right off like that. And then you get a good clean line. You can, of course, pre-measure your paper if you want. Some people will put it on and then fold it around and cut it perfectly. I like to have that edge where you can tell that you've lightly taken it off with some sandpaper. Oh my gosh, I just absolutely love this print of this paper. Now I'm not going too hard because I don't want to pull the paper off. I don't want it to tear. There we go. And it comes right off. See? Okay, so I'm going to do the other side, and then I'll take you and give you a close-up of what it looks like. It looks, I love it. Sometimes if your decoupage paper is too wet, you can really tear it. That's why I didn't put my second coat of decoupage paper on the top yet, but I will once I get this off. So now that you've seen the cowhide decoupage paper, what do you think you would put it on? Do you have a project maybe in mind? We have it here in the store, but if you're not local, obviously you could go to your local Roycycled Treasure retailer and pick it up. Trying to do this fast, yet without tearing the paper. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, just have a couple little pieces I need to get off. Got a little bit of extra clear coat over here, so I'm just gonna wipe that off. Okay, let me show you what it looks like. So here is, look at that, the edge. Look at that, how pretty. Now you can see right here, where did it go? I tore the paper just a little bit because it was really wet and I went a little fast. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little piece and glue it right there and you won't even notice it. So here's what it looks like so far with the paper. What do you think? Do you love it? I do. All right, let me go back to the other view. So really quick, like I said, I ripped that paper there. I'm going to go ahead and just glue a little piece that looks just like it. And it's actually from right here. So I'm just going to take a little piece and I'm going to put it on top and you won't even know. All right. Consider it like a Band-Aid. So now we're going to go ahead and put the second coat on top This is what will make the paper durable on top and really make sure that it's on. You want to make sure you cover the whole entire paper. You don't want to push too hard though, or overwork the paper and the color, because you don't want the paper to tear. There we go. Let's do the other side. Making sure I'm getting the lip, make sure that the paper is good and adhered to the top of this piece. Right after we get done with the paper, we're going to talk about the handles. I'm going to show you what handles came with it and what we're going to do to kind of dress them up just a bit. All right, there we go. I'm just going to get the extra clear coat off just real quick. Sometimes if you let your clear coat puddle up, it can dry a little yellow, and we don't want that on a white piece for sure, because that will definitely show. We can't have any yellowing. All right, I'm also going to be distressing around where I just put the paper, but I'm not going to do that right now, because if I do that now, the distressing pieces of sand and stuff will get stuck and it will dry onto my decoupage paper, and I don't want that to happen, so we're going to do that in a minute while it's drying. So let me show you the handles really quick. This is what they look like. They're very fancy, but the color is not the best. So we're going to dress them up just a little bit to kind of match the paper. Let me get another paper out here. And I'm just going to dangle it over the side so you have a good visual of what the paper looks like. So it literally looks like cowhide, right? There we go. So I'm thinking that we're going to use some gilding wax, and I think I really like the copper color. I think the copper is going to match the best with the cowhide. So I like to use the Dixie Belle gilding wax. This is the one that's copper. This is oil-based, so it'll stay on really well. Different cleanup than water-based, but so you can do it one of two ways. If you want it heavy, you can use a paintbrush, or if you just want to hit the peaks, the tops of the parts sticking out, you just use your fingertip. So I'm going to start with just my fingertips. So I'm going to come in close to the camera so you can see. So I'm dipping my finger in the gilding wax, and then I'm just going to brush it on really lightly with my finger. See how pretty that is? So this is the gilding wax, this is without. What a difference. Again, I chose the copper because I feel the copper will match the best with the cowhide print that I just put on. But I like the underneath of the brass color, so it looks like there's a little bit more dimension. So this will look really good. Let me pull this up. How does that look? Oh, there we go. So that'll pop with the white, but tie in yet with the cowhide decoupage paper. All right, let me do the other two handles real quick. Again, I'm just using my finger dipped into the copper gilding wax and just dusting really light. Once this dries, it will be on for good. You do not need to seal it. So there's that one. And we're going to put these on so you can see what they look like. You can mix and match these, so I can layer, I could put a little bit of black on if I wanted, just to give it another dimension, because you have the brass color, and then you have the copper that I just put on. So, see how pretty that is? All right. I'll put this to the side. All right, let's take a peek and see how they look. A quick tip, if you don't want to ever lose the screws, or you want to make sure the right screws go with the right handles, when you take them off, just lightly put them back in. That way you know you have the right screws and the right length ones, and you won't lose them. Okay, so you just pop that back in. I'm not going to have them tightened all the way. I'm just going to kind of loosely put them in just so you can see. I'll go back in a little bit. Wow. Pretty. Okay, now this one. And the last one. All right, so I'm looking at this and I'm wondering if I should add any dark wax to it. Sometimes I have a vision for a piece and then, oops, I think I have it back, yeah, backwards. And then it totally changes. Okay, now, let me show you what's going to go here, because I did say that this was going to be from a vanity to the end of the bed, seating, storage area where you put your shoes on. Maybe you have, you know, your socks or something in there. So let me show you. Look. I went to the store and got some fluffy, furry fabric, and then Liz sewed me a pillow. Thanks, Liz. But look at that. That just totally tops it off. Okay, so let me raise this camera just a little bit, because I think you'll be able to see better if I raise this one up. Let's see. Oh, maybe not so much. All right, so I'm going to take it from the other camera angle. Wow, look. So the paper is drying. You got your nice new seat and storage. And how cute would this be at the end of your bed? Or as in an entryway, you can hang a beautiful mirror on the wall. Wow, I love it. I'll be posting pictures when I get it all dried, and I make sure I have the distressing just the way I want it. Looking at it now, I don't think I'm going to add any dark wax. I think I kind of like the bright white. So let me know in the comments what you think of this project. And I want to say thank you for joining me. Real quick though, see this big armoire over here? I'm going to be doing that next Monday with the huge Gothic Angel rice paper from Decoupage Queen and Would You Bend. I'm going to put lots of Would You Bends on it, and I'm going to be going live split screen with Would You Bend. So that should be exciting. But I'll make an event for it, and you guys can join if you want. Anyway, thanks for joining me on this Monday. And if you're here in Fort Myers, stay warm. All right, guys, have a great day.